Welcome. This is Jane Gardner, and welcome to Solopreneur Success Strategies. And I'm Jane Gardner, and today it's all about your customer and you. I call it World Domination Wednesday because it's all about that you dominating their world and making them yourself important to them. So let's have a look at who I am. And I'm Jane Gardner, and I work with my husband in our structural engineering firm, and we've been doing it for 20 years in Western Canada, and so we're very familiar with customers and customer service or non-service. So I thought I would come out onto the internet and talk about how to be a successful entrepreneur on your own in your home office, and that's who I am. And today we're going to be talking about continuing on with our customer service, how to set up a system in your business so that you have happy customers. So let's get started here. And of course, we've been talking previously about starting with who are your customers. We had a look at who your customers are in terms of defining who your customers are. And of course, your customers are those who want your solution to their problem, or they want your solution to fulfill their desire. And we had a look at how to define them as your customers and who they are and where they hang out and what they like to buy. There are over 3.5 billion internet users now. It's gone up since when I took this slide about only 6 months ago. And from those 3.5 billion people, you should be able to use your messaging, your connections, your marketing to find those who need your solution or need your thing to fulfill their desire. So we've had a look at who are your customers, who you know what they want that you can give them. You know where to find them now to be your ideal customers. You know when and how they like to buy from previous episodes. You know how what is the ideal customer experience you can provide in whether it's your website or your store. And for those who missed those episodes, you can catch them up at jgtips.com/YouTube. Just go look for World Domination Wednesday episodes and go back in time. We've also looked at how to convert your prospects into customers. And we had a look at the personality development factors model, which talks about how we all have 4 personality factors in us, and each of us is different depending on the different levels and our life experience, which has affected our personality. However, there are certain traits within these 4 personal styles which can be detected with knowledge and experience such that you can adapt to another person's personal style for a better relationship. So there are 4 different buying styles, of which each of us have one more dominant in our personality than someone else. So detecting a person's buying style, you can be more successful as a salesperson with training. And I have a course at jgtips.com/pstyle, PSTYLE, jgtips.com/pstyle, where we talk about customer-focused selling, how to establish whether they are willing and ready to buy, understanding how credibility works with you and your customer, and identifying your preferred selling style, as well as determine your customer buying style and being able to adapt to their buying style. And then we had a look at what does good customer service really mean. And we looked at the mindset of a customer service rock star and how you can develop that for your business to create the great experience for your customers. We looked at how you can add a frequently asked question to help you streamline your customer service for your business. This is all about keeping your customers and getting them to come back to you, of course, as well as the importance of customer onboarding in your sales cycle. So if you don't have a very good process when someone purchases, you can have unsatisfied clients, you can have poor reviews, lack of referrals, low sales, confused and frustrated staff, lack of metrics, and lack of feedback, which will create the possibility that your customer will not even try your product and never return again. So it's very important that you have a customer onboarding process that you develop so that you can make your customer comfortable with your product and become more knowledgeable about your product and be happy with your product so that they're interested in buying from you again and again. So what is onboarding? Well, it's teaching the customer how to use the product to its fullest. Build a strong relationship with your customer. Gather information about your customer so you can build this relationship. Drive home the value of your product or service, as well as setting clear expectations as to what your product or service will give them. And there's a whole overview of the onboarding process that we've started to look at. We had a look at the customer post-purchase experience, the big picture of looking at that and how to create a big picture list of what will they do with your product or service and the long and term, short-term results from using the product or service. And now you can help with that process. So then you would make a list of the details of your post-purchase experience, flesh out the details of your customer's post-purchase experience by considering how you're going to deliver your product or service, how you're going to maybe have the installation of their product, how easy it will be. Maybe you should have some tutorials for installation, the use of your product or service and how they can use it. The features, of course, will always be known, and how maybe there can be changes in the use of it, how it can be adaptable, how is it going to be maintained, what are the problems with your experience of the customer, if there are any, and what are the benefits to the customer of the post-purchase experience. Are there any, or are they you just leaving them to it so they try and have to figure out everything themselves? So consider the following for each idea for specific tasks. So how is the client going to interact when it comes to post-purchase? Is there going to be a customer service line, phone, internet, customer service desk for questions? Are they going to be able to download it at any time do they want, or do they have to only download it once? Are you going to deliver it by the mail? What is the content that you're going to create for them, and how long is it going to take to create this content to help them with the post-purchase experience? We had a lot of discussion on what kind of things you can create, and we also looked at the points of contact you will have with your customer, and consider all these points of contact and how you will be able to work with them. So, of course, there's the initial purchase, when they purchase the product and how you deliver it to them, and then whether or not you're going to be sending them emails after their purchase, sending them to tutorials to learn more about the purchase, etc., and trainings. Make a visual representation and timeline of all the points of contact with your customer and explain what will happen there. Make a graphic timeline, a mind map, or a spreadsheet, and identify ways you can offer help at each point of contact with your customer. So, of course, there will be the initial purchase from the customer. There'll be the post-purchase experience by the customer. Will they need to know how to install it? Will they need to know how to use it? And will there be upgrades? And then they'll have to also have links sent to them for the upgrades, etc. Or were they aware of how to do that? And you have a look at all these things and make a mind map or a timeline or a spreadsheet even of identifying ways you can offer help at each point of contact. And so you have to create a customer relationship management program. You need a system to ensure all steps in your outline are performed consistently, and each step should trigger the next step. So by creating a graphical timeline, whether it's similar to this or another one like a mind map, that helps you to create a whole process for you for post-purchase for your customer, so that your customer will be in contact with you, learning much about your product or service and getting to use it quickly and getting to be able to have their questions answered quickly. How are you going to set that up in your system in order to make it so that your customers are happy with your business and are willing to buy from you again and again? So you have to include a way to track and implement the steps, make sure that they are created and implemented, and that you have the budget in your plan within your management plan for your business in order to create your customer service system. So you should also have all the system materials you need for the salesperson, so that they can have all the information they need in order to help any customer when they have contact with them, in terms of answering questions and training them on any of their product or service. So we've had a look at planning the onboard process. We've had a look at the big picture and details of the experience. Then we realized we need a customer relationship management program. So we're going to be creating that in terms of figuring out what are the points of contact with the customer. And probably next week we'll be looking at service and operation for your onboarding process. So you're asking yourself, well, Jane, why do I need all this onboarding process? Well, of course, it is easier to get a current customer to buy from you again and again, versus it takes 10 times as much work to get a prospect into a customer, where it only takes you one time. In terms of how hard it is to get customers, it's much easier to sell to customers that you already have, whether it's on an email list that you should put in your system, or you have a contact database or a phone list, than it is to go and find new customers and sell them on you as a business. So that is why you have an onboarding process, so that they can rave about you later once they learn more about you and how you are being awesome, and training them on how to use their product or service. So, for example, in the next 30 days after the onboarding, you can create a content plan that you can send out by email to train them on more information about your product or service. So we'll have a look at general on the various other ways you can have a good onboarding process to keep your customers, because in the end, they're the ones who create the additional revenue. Much easier to get them to buy from you again and again than it is to get a prospect to buy from you. Thank you for listening. This is Jane Gardner, and see you next week.